Welcome to Manchester's SEO podcast, if I can speak. It's the 7th episode, so it's a surprise to everyone that we've got this far. We're joined today by Steve Woods, who's co-founder of Bencorp.
That's right, yeah.
Well, welcome.
No,
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me coming down here, it's great.
Wet and cold morning.
Yeah, I
in
love
Macclesfield.
autumn.
And this morning it was, I dropped off my son at school and it was snowing, raining and hailing at the same time, which I don't think I've ever experienced before.
Yeah. 4 seasons in one day.
Even
but all of them autumn.
So thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
Tell us what you do and you.
Yeah, so Bencorp, we're quite a new company, and we've basically spent best part of 18 months putting together a portfolio of different partners.
Okay.
We kind of fell into it by accident, but I'm sure we'll touch on that in a bit. But what we do is we go into businesses and we try and identify particular needs or requirements that we can then use our partners to help plug the gaps, if you like, and deal with pain points.
Okay.
Every single business out there, doesn't matter what you do, you try to do 3 things. You try to sell more, spend less, and be better at what you do. And around that, there's lots of different factors that affect that, whether it's your energy costs, your employees and how your retention of staff, that sort of thing. Compliance, is a big thing as well. So what we do is we go in and, as I say, we work out where a business needs help that's above and beyond what's already available. And then we say, right, we've got guys that you can speak to. We know these guys are good. We've worked with them. We've seen what they can do firsthand. Speak to them and see what you think. And from that, they then can make a decision as to whether they think that's the way forward for them.
Sure. Is that so? It's green solutions or
there's lots of different types of solutions we can provide. So green energy and lots of different facets around that. Employee benefits, businesses that are part of a supply chain or looking to tender. They have to do things like ESG reporting now, which is your environmental, social and governance.
Sure.
And a lot of businesses are having to do it to comply and to be successful with tenders. They're not really sure what to do or,
what it involves.
Yeah, what it involves, yeah. So there's lots, like I say, we've got 20 partners. Yeah. And it's going into every business is different. Every business has different needs. A manufacturing company with, burning energy day in, day out, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Their needs are slightly different to maybe a retail setup where there's lots of different sites.
Yeah.
So it's really about, first of all, us identifying what the issues are, what the pain points are, and then putting forward suggestions of solutions.
Yeah.
Some of the solutions, a lot of the solutions aren't that known. Some of them have come from the corporate world, where the criteria is broadened. They're now available to SMEs. SMEs, they won't know about it.
No.
So our job is to go in and raise awareness that these things are available. There's grants available, funding available.
Yeah.
So it's about helping businesses. It's a good. Really enjoy it.
Yeah. I know. When you talk about businesses having to comply for tenders, I was talking to a partner in quite a large law firm, and they were tendering for to be a preferred supplier for an insurance company, and they had to show a road path to zero carbon practices, and it makes sense actually.
Yeah, I think anyone that's looking to do work with councils, NHS, anything like that, they have to a certain portion of that sort of bidding process. They have to sort of demonstrate that they are doing things the right way and that they're looking after the environment. They're switching off all the lights. The thing is with it is that there's not much sort of support or guidance there in terms of what they have to do.
Sure.
And so when you're starting from scratch and you're saying, right, we've got to record this, we've got to communicate it with all our team and everything, you know, a lot of companies will probably be overdoing it. They'll be doing too much, a lot of stuff that they don't need to do.
Yeah.
As well as on the other side of it, have sat there going, "What the hell do we do?" So, yeah, on that side of it, that's quite a new thing with a partner that we've got, who's a good friend of mine as well, actually, and he's been sort of looking into that over the last sort of couple of years and getting his head around it, and now he's there to offer help to businesses that need it.
You got any examples of how you've helped businesses? Any?
Yeah, so we're actually working with a couple of local authorities at the moment on green energy.
Well.
And green energy is a massive area at the moment. And one of the things that we're working on is with an energy company who, so say you've got a manufacturing company here down in the valley, and they're using all this energy, and the energy costs are spiralling. They've got the broker on it. The brokers work really hard. We've got a broker that we work with. They work really hard to try and find the best rates, and so this company's paying the best market rates at the moment. It's still, you know, making tight, you know, decisions, cutting back stuff because the running cost of the company is so high.
Sure.
Up on the hills, there's a load of wind farms.
Okay.
Yeah. And that owner of that business down here must be looking up there thinking, I wish I could just plug into that.
Yeah.
Because that's not how it works at the moment. At the moment, all that energy gets spread across the UK through the grid. We've managed to work with one of our energy partners, and what we can do is now arrange for, on a regionalised basis, for green energy sites within the electricity distribution network areas. If you're in the same area, we'll be able to help a business buy that green energy directly.
Okay.
So what that does is it cuts out a load of the transportation costs and the middle ground costs that that inflate the prices.
Yeah.
So if you're a business now, you can save a lot of money by buying the green energy direct from within your area.
Okay.
And on the flip side, a little bit more can be given to the generator.
Yeah.
So both win.
That's really interesting because you assume that you get a supplier and you've got no real control or visibility of, although we're told where it comes from,
yeah,
or percentage of it, you know, we don't really know.
No,
you know?
Look, our aim really is on that side of it. It's kind of game changing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the threshold of that again has come down. So the big boys, you know, the big companies, like your big retail sites and supermarkets and that, a lot of them will be looking at, it's called a corporate PPA, like a corporate power purchase agreement.
Yeah.
And they'll have their own self generation as well. So on the big distribution centres, they'll have solar. But again, with this, if you can buy your green energy direct, even as a smaller company,
yeah,
not only are you going to be saving money on the energy cost, but you're not having to spend on the infrastructure yourself. Because a lot of businesses will be looking at this and they're saying, right, we need to get our energy costs down, we need to go green, let's stick a load of solar on our roof.
Yeah.
Well, that comes at a cost.
Yeah.
And again, you know, if you're working 24/7, you know, it does go dark. So
it does.
So yeah. So and again, but it's only through conversations and through working with our partners that we come up with these ideas, put it forward, and then find the people that can put it together. And again, like I say, we're looking at local authorities, and we're looking for smaller businesses. You know, businesses with decent energy usage, you know, manufacturing, hospitality, hotels, that sort of thing. Because we'll be able to match you to generators in your area.
Right. Interesting. Well, you mentioned manufacturers; they'll probably have a lot of logistics involved in what they do, and you know, lorries, Arctic, Arctics, and stuff like that. You know, can you help with that?
Yeah. So again, another thing on the compliance side is any company that's got a fleet of vehicles. There's lots of compliance that you have to go through, and the way that things are going. Is if you've got a driver that goes out and they've been out the night before and they're over the limit, and then they go and knock someone over or kill someone or do something horrendous, you think it's never going to happen. But you don't have to look too far on the internet to find company directors that are being prosecuted because a driver for their company. So it's not just the actual driver that's liable. If the right checks aren't in place and the right procedures aren't in place within a company, as a director, you can all of a sudden sort of find yourself up in court because one of your drivers has done something stupid.
Yeah.
So we actually work with a partner that does sort of vehicle fleet compliance software.
Okay.
So it helps the company sort of monitor everything that it needs to do. The drivers will have an app, so every time they get in the car, they have to sort of click on a button that says, "I've not, I'm able to drive."
Yeah. It's like signing a form to say, "Yeah, I've not been drinking the last 24 hours."
Yeah, and again, it's just there's lots of things out there that are kind of similar, but this is like we think a level above. We've not found anything better than it.
Sure.
And again, it's just about sort of raising awareness of these things as well.
Yeah.
And making businesses aware that you're not going to find out until it's too late.
Sure is.
You know what I mean?
So, when what would you say for SMEs? In terms of what are the most common things solutions you provide that business owners aren't aware of that could really help them in terms of saving money or costs or grants available or whatever?
Yeah. So again, on the energy's been a big thing.
Yeah.
Energy was what kicked all this off, really.
Okay.
That was how we kind of fell into it, because it went bonkers about 18 months ago, and the prices just
massive.
Yeah, and lots of businesses went under, and we were kind of working within the green sector, but not specifically this. And then we kind of through networking, because networking is a big thing for us. That's how we meet a lot of our partners, and I was referred to an energy company that had this solution regarding the green energy and buying and selling green energy from wind farm owners, and it kind of all sort of fell out from that, really. But the energy is a big thing, and that's then kind of led on to AI and management of energy within properties using AI.
Okay.
And there's we're finding lots of different businesses are offering different solutions. And some are, fantastic but expensive. Others are not as extensive but more affordable but can make a difference.
Sure.
So again, it's about finding the right fit for the right sort of company. One of our partners has worked with a large chain of stores where they've gone in and put their AI energy management in.
Yeah.
And it's quite a basic sort of solution, but it's really effective because it'll just ping messages to the managers of the stores each day and say, "John left the lights on last night." That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what it does is it uses, and you'll probably know more about this side of it than me, the techie side of it, but it uses algorithms and a massive pool of data that it's collected over time from its databases to make suggestions that the store owners will say, "Well, that couldn't have happened because we've not got anyone called John." No, it'll say like with that couldn't have happened. So the AI will learn from that and then make alternative suggestions, and that trims off about 10% of your energy bill, and it costs about 1% to run it.
Yeah.
So there's a
savings.
Yeah, there's a 9% shift, but if you've got a lot of stores and your energy bills are massive, 9%'s a decent saving.
I think awareness is probably the hardest thing because you start a business and you're involved in the business, growing it, and you become a bit blinkered to things that are out there, and so you kind of need people who know about it to make you aware of these options, which might save you money or it might make you more compliant, open up more business to you in the public sector because of that. And and the business owners tend to be quite blinkered to what they're doing, which they should be.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point, because a lot of people, when they set out in business, are good at the thing that they do.
Yeah.
So they set up a business based on that. But of course, running a business, you've got to have two different brains.
Sure.
And so you've got to be good at the thing that you do still. Teach people how to do that around you, or get people in that can do that around you, and control that and manage that. But then you've got to do all the other stuff that goes with business as well, your marketing and all that, and understand finance and looking after your staff, which again is another solution that we can help with.
Like an HR solution? Or
It's but it's sort of employee benefit led.
Okay.
So it's giving the staff more.
Yeah.
And giving them things like discounts in supermarkets, off the shopping, and things like that.
Okay.
Access to well-being and access to funding and advice and all these sorts of things. There's like a benefits package.
Okay.
Benefit of this one is that there's no cost attached to it.
Okay.
For the company. So
that's amazing, because that's quite rare.
it is. So it's again, that's one of the ones that's come from the corporate world.
Yeah.
Because it's a global organisation that are behind it.
Okay.
And it's different. It's different, but it's not for everyone, you know. And that's the thing we say when we make the introductions. There's no hard sell. There's no gun at your head. You're doing this. You know, it's look, go in, have a chat with them. We think it's a good fit, but what do we know? You know, you speak to them, you ask the questions.
Yeah.
If you like it, take it further with them. If you don't like it, that's fine. Walk away.
I think a lot of business owners would like to offer more to their staff, because they want to keep them. You know, if they're good, you want them to stay with you and to be happy and healthy and get you know, and the positives for them working for you breeds loyalty and
100%.
and all that.
100%.
And usually there's a cost involved in that. So to hear there's no cost involved, surely that's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with its own. Well, you don't get anything for free.
Of course.
But having said that, that actual solution, there's no cost.
Yeah.
Because for the provider, there are other opportunities to cross sell and other solutions that they can cross sell.
Okay.
But again, there's no obligation to take any of them.
Yeah.
So, but on a global scale, it's something that I don't like the term loss leader, but it's kind of like a foot in the door into companies to help, and there's knock-on benefits that they get.
Sure.
But I think what you touched on there was really important, because you look at this from a business point of view, and you're a business owner. One of the key things that you have an issue with is retention of staff. And if you can get your staff in a position where they are happy to work and and you can get more out of them, let's face it, if they're saving £1,300 over the year on the shopping in various discounts, you've given them a pay rise without giving them a pay rise.
Yeah.
So there's benefits for both. So yeah, again, it's one of those solutions. We think it's great.
Yeah.
But again, we understand it's not for everyone.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself. How did you get into?
Oh God.
I mean, we've only got 10 minutes, but
when's part two?
What's your background? What you to do and what you do now?
Right. Well, I was born it. No. Do you know what? Right. When I left college about 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
Right? And when I was at college, I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do.
No.
All my mates went to uni. I wanted to be in a band and I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
And I've been in a band, and I'm in a band at the minute, and it doesn't make you money.
No.
So the making money thing, I didn't know how I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to, and I knew my dad got involved in something when I was at college where it was like an affiliate network marketing sort of setup, and it was a fad at the time. It was dead popular at the time, and it probably wouldn't have worked, but it was quite evangelical as well, the way that they did it. It was about positive thinking, and that side of it was great. And I'm there at college reading books like The Magic of Thinking Big and how to make friends and influence people and all that. And And then as time went on, I just sort of ended up working in office jobs.
Yeah.
I worked in banking, I worked in insurance, I worked in what you do, SEO and web design and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I ended up in a situation where I had the opportunity to quit my job and set up my own business. So initially I set up my own business doing web design. And the company that I worked for were brilliant. The company that I worked for in Manchester were great. And they taught me a lot. But I learnt it myself. And I'm sat there, because what I used to think was the boss was in the office and he was top. But I used to think, I'm sat here making money for him. That's not making money for me.
Yeah.
I can do this myself. So I got myself a bit of money and I set up on my own. And I did it for 10 years. And but I became sort of disillusioned with it, the way the market is. I couldn't compete. Because prices are coming down, and you've got to really, now I think in your industry, you've got to think of so many different things. So
technologies move on as well, and
you've got to keep up.
Yeah, it's tricky to keep up when you're doing your job as well.
Yeah. And you try and do everything, and that was the problem. So a customer would come to me and say, "Can you do Google Ads?" I say, "Yeah, of course I can." And then you're on, how do you do Google Ads? And but I did it because I'd got the mindset to be able to work it and the marketing understanding of it. But I just didn't want to do that anymore. And I ended up working for my uncle at his garage, selling cars. And everything I've done is always, I worked out that I didn't want to work for someone else. So that was my office job experience. I couldn't work for someone else. I wanted to run something. I wanted to make money in a good way, helping people, getting rewarded for us helping them. So with our services, we don't charge anyone anything for the introductions or anything like that. We get paid commissions off our partners if the client goes ahead. Yeah. So it's all commission based. But what I realised what I really wanted was a residual income, something where we could earn money by doing something once and then it repeating without us having to do it again.
Sure, yeah.
And so that was kind of, I met my business partner Matt at a networking event, and we had this idea between us. After we got on really well, we still do, obviously. He's great. Matt's like proper sales focused. But he's a little bit older than me, so he's got a different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
I'm all for the digital and let's do this, and he's like, let's just send a letter. And
both work well.
Both work.
Yeah.
So it works really well. But we had this idea, and his background was sort of vehicle leasing at the time, but he'd also worked in green energy. Okay. He'd worked with wind turbines, fixing them and managing them and stuff. And it was just, we both sort of got disillusioned with what we were doing. We came up with an idea just before COVID of a hiring items and a comparison site that we were going to put together. And then COVID happened, everything locked down, and that killed it overnight because it was around hospitality.
Right.
So we were like, God, geez, what should we do now? And that was when we sort of got a couple of opportunities in the green energy sector. So in answer to your question, how have I got here? It's kind of by accident.
Yeah.
But the principles are the same. The idea is that we help businesses, and as a result of that, we get rewarded on an ongoing basis. That's where we're at.
The most interesting thing for me in these podcasts is listening to how people got into it. What did they do? How was and a lot of people talk about just falling into a role which might have given them skills that help them now, or it might be what they do now, and there'll be reasons why you moved away which lead you to what you're doing now. And I always find that's really fascinating for other business owners because they'll have something they can relate to as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm pretty impatient as well, and I think with the web side of things, I think it's just moved so quickly, and I really couldn't keep up with it. But I enjoyed it. But it was the thing with it is it had a ceiling for me, because I could only earn as much. I couldn't do a 40-hour day, and that was the problem that I was having. How do I do that where I'm not, basically my business isn't a job?
Sure. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where with this is a fantastic opportunity for me, my family, to be able to help businesses, but earn
some money from it.
Yeah, let's not be daft. We want to earn money as well. Do you know what I mean? It's just a nice added bonus that the other businesses are going to benefit, and that's how I make my money.
Yeah, I fell into recruitment after university and got into sales, and I loved the process and the psychology behind what makes people buy things or leave one job to go to another. But there was always the first ever